Good morning. Today I want to talk about what I consider to be I would say, the master key to life, happiness, longevity, and in some respects, creativity. Basically, any wisdom and here it is. The master key kind of want to talk around it before I tell you what it is. You know, it's not focus. It's not one thing at a time. It's not intelligence. And in some degrees, it's not even effort. You know, it's not all of the things that you'll hear from all of the gurus out there, what you got to do to achieve mastery. When I say mastery, I really mean longevity, health, happiness, good relationships. You know, and it's going to sound over simple when I say it. I'm going to say it, but I really encourage you to stick around to explain until I explain why it's the master key. And the master key is the stillness. It's still mind. It's the practice of stillness. And I'm going to tell you how I came to this and how after, I started practicing meditation. The first time I was exposed to it was at 18 years old, but really started practicing in my 20s and did many 10-day silent meditation retreats. I never really got it until about 2 weeks ago. And what happened 2 weeks ago was I got a concussion. I got the worst concussion of my life, and I'm still in recovery. So making this video is kind of pushing the envelope of stillness. So here's the thing. Even if you do long meditation retreats, you may never actually get to a point in which you are getting how addicted to stimulation you are. So I had this concussion. I literally jumped into a rafter head on. Felt my brain smash against the front of my head. Went to the doctor, and in my case, luckily, I didn't have. They're telling me that I'm not acute, and I am acute, but I'm not in danger of, having something really traumatic happen. The only thing I'm in danger of is slowing down my recovery. So literally, when I would think or use my eyeballs or look at a screen or watch a movie or watch a cartoon with my daughter or make this video or not relax, my brain would start to inflame and I would feel the pain. And it's still going to happen right now if I go too fast. So that changed my life. I can honestly say that 2 weeks ago my life changed. Well, over this past 2 weeks my life has changed as my brain, the pain in my brain has showed me how addicted to stimulation I am. And it's not just me, it's all of us. And I think the reason that I want to talk about this and why I say it's the master key is that that's what's missing today. There's less stillness. There's more. We're getting to a place now with our screen addictions that we have such cognitive stimulation all the time that we could literally let our bodies atrophy and still have intense amounts of cognitive stimulation. So it really took having this brain injury for me to see that even thinking about complex tasks, it's kind of an addiction to stimulation. It's the opposite of stillness. And it's why I think most of you say, I can't meditate, because you're unwilling to feel the discomfort of stillness. So the reason that I'm so, I feel so confident about this is that, for years, knowing the wisdom of a stillness practice and struggling with it, I never really could see a one-to-one correlation until I bonked my head. And then the more mental stimulus I give myself, the more pain and pressure I get in my head. So it literally forced me to recognize how addicted to brain stimulation I am. And it's not a healthy thing, I mean, it's healthy you don't want to be brain dead, but you need stillness in order to find peace, creativity, wisdom, joy, longevity. I want you to contemplate for a minute the symbols of longevity. There's some really great ancient Taoist symbols. There's a man with a peach, big long beard. There's the turtle, the whale. All of those symbols, they're slow. Some of you may argue with me in that, you need the stimulation, it's good for your brain, but mostly you're overstimulated. If you have trouble focusing, it's not your focus that's the problem, it's that you're overstimulated. From caffeine to screens to Netflix to video games to pornography to whatever it is, you're overstimulated. First you overstimulate, and then if you're in a really bad cycle, you'll overstimulate and then you'll oversedate. So you go back and forth. And sleeping is great and it's important, but it doesn't count. You have to master the overstimulation in your waking hours. So this is the first day that I felt like I've gotten enough of a hold on how I overstimulate myself that I could actually drive to where I'm working. I'm not necessarily going to work all day, but I'm going to at least give it a shot. And you'll notice that I'm breathing a lot because the deep breaths are helping keeping my stimulation levels low enough so that I don't overload my brain. A lot of the masters in the economic world, I should have pulled up a list, but the one that comes to mind is Ray Dalio, completely committed to 40, 50 years of meditation practice. So how can this benefit you? Well, A, if you're struggling to focus, or you have anxiety, or you're worrying a lot about the world, number one is you have to practice letting go and just being still. Especially if you're an A type who's created a lot of stuff on your own in your world, like I have, or if you're self-employed, or if you're ambitious, you need a stillness practice, or it's going to wear you out and burn you out. So you want to be someone, that doesn't mean that you stop being ambitious or you stop going after the big goals in your life. What it means is that you let go regularly, daily. So I've been playing around with a lot of mantras lately. One is, I let go. Another is, I am cared for. You know, I'm not a Christian. I don't really believe in the idea of faith, and as in you're supposed to believe in a book as the Word of God. I think that that is a misguided principle that contains ideas that are meant to control people and create a tribalism. But I do believe in the principle of centering your faith outside of yourself in something larger than yourself. And that can be Jesus Christ, or that could be Mother Earth, or that could be Grandmother Universe, or that could be the great mystery of the origin of all things. So if you center your identity and you say, I am not Mike Stokes, or, you know, that's me, obviously. I am one with God, and God either being earth, the universe, the mystery of the beginnings of all things, or however you articulate that. And in that way, you can let go of the chattering mind. But the problem is that most of us are addicted to the stimulation of the mind. So that's one of the reasons the religions work. It's because they give you an ideological framework which tells you to put your chattering mind inside of an entity larger than yourself. That helps. But mastery comes from when you take on the chattering itself, not just an ideology of belief. Because you can be inside an ideology of belief and still chatter away in wastelands of thoughts. One of the practices which I forgot I used to do and I recently remembered as I've been finding stillness again is the idea that we are too attached to the importance of our own ideas. Our ideas are 99% of our ideas are unimportant. 1% are truly important, and they need to be acknowledged. But most of them can be cut off and let go. You and I and most everybody thinks all of our thoughts are so important. But if you really honestly humble yourself and look back on all of the ideas that you've had over your lifetime and think through which ones were actually important, it'll be probably around 1% or less that were actually important. You know, they call in the Chinese tradition, they call rishi the longevity or immortality mushroom. What does that mushroom do? That mushroom causes a calmness in your system, a slowness. So if you're interested in longevity, happiness, creativity, relationships, slowing down, or truth for that matter, the truth does not live in quick sound bites, quick assessments, quick interpretations. The truth lives in slow, deep inquiry. No master was ever created in quick sound bites. Masters live in slow, deep practice and inquiry. I'm just going to breathe for a few moments. So right now, my brain, in its recovering state, doesn't want me to go any faster. And it's incredibly hard. If you're ever forced with a brain injury or a life circumstance to slow down, it is going to challenge you to the core. Right now, my money wants me to go super fast, and I'm not able without damaging my brain. So I'm forced in this very inconvenient time to go very slow. You know, there's a great saying attributed to Gandhi. I hope it's true. I don't know for certain. He was reportedly said to someone, "I have so much to do today. I will need to meditate 2 hours instead of just 1. Because if you want to come from a place of wisdom, you gotta slow down to speed up in a wise way. Otherwise, you don't see the forest through the trees, and you can do damage to yourself or damage to others or both. Truly, stillness is the path to action that is wise, that is effective, that is healthy, that brings happiness and joy to you, to others, and to the world. I hope you choose to move along the stillness path. You're going to have to confront your demons. They will not want to slow down. Even when it feels like you're slowing down, you're really not. We fool ourselves. I fooled myself for 56 years thinking I was slowing down. I might have even slowed down, like in the meditation retreats, I would slow down my body. I would sit for 10 hours a day. But at the end, it slowed down a little, but mostly I didn't slow my mind. My mind stayed super jumpy the whole time. Let me know if that was helpful. If you have any questions, I know this will help you, especially if you're type A who's trying to do everything. I can help. I want to help. Ask me questions. I'll do my best to answer them. I'm also available for coaching for those of you that are interested in that. I'm going to start some group sessions, which will be more affordable than one-on-one. Seems really odd to speak this slow. And if it put you to sleep, well, that was probably a good thing. All right. Best of luck to you. Find some stillness, gain some longevity, peace, creativity, relationships, happiness. Bye.